my name is Brianna Sinclair, and this is my 48th week on HRT. If you like my content, please like, comment, subscribe. If you have any specific requests, please put those down in the comments below, and I will do my best to accommodate those. On my channel, I post mostly transgender content, and I have started a Discord and a Blue Sky for those interested to join. Those are linked in my bio, so feel free to meet me there and continue talking to me there as well. And with all that being said, let's get right into the video. So quick measurements update. My hips are at 34.5, my bust is at 36 1/4, and my waist is at 24 3/4. So that seems all those are the exact same measurements as last week, with the exception of my bust, which seems to have grown another 1/4 inch, which is still pretty good. I'm not sure what's really changed. They've really been hurting a lot recently, and that might just be due to me like slightly switching up my diet maybe. I'm not 100% sure, to be honest with you, but I've been trying to keep my diet mostly the same, and my breasts have been developing at a consistent rate pretty much. My emotional status is very stable. I think I get a little flustered, like, whenever I get to, like, specific topics. Like, at one of my jobs, I was asked, like, how I feel about transgender people being kicked out of the military and stuff, and I answered the question as truthfully as I could and as honestly as I could, without giving away too much information and cluing them into the fact that I myself was also a transgender woman and would also like be affected if I was in the military. And it was during a board, and it's essentially kind of like an interview process, kind of, where you're put in front of 5 other individuals that are unbiased and you don't know. Well, you know one. One of them's your representative. The other 4 are completely unknown to you, for the most part. And they are supposed to be unbiased people that will ask you questions about current events and stuff like that. And they will get your take on it. They'll ask you 2 questions and then an opinionated question, and one of them was in fact how a lot of them are like hot button topics, like DEI, transgender in the military, and stuff like that. And I got flustered at the transgender question, which is kind of like ironic. I just didn't want it to affect my board, and it was my misunderstanding that they weren't grading my opinion. They were grading how well I presented it, and because I presented it in a neutral way, I scored well, but not as well as I should have done whenever they figured out at the end of my board that I was transgender. And that was my representative had told them, so I wouldn't lose more points. Hair reduction. Yes, my body hair grows very, very slowly and has thinned out a tremendous amount, which I am so remarkably happy for, because I hated every follicle of like my hair. I've borderline filleted my hair out, filleted my skin getting my hair off and stuff, and I've ripped out hair like kind of with wax, but like also like because I didn't know how to do it, and it would take skin and stuff with it as well. It's my hair issue has been a time. So I am happy that it is thinning out, and it's a lot easier to shave and do everything else with, because it's was prominent. Breast growth. My breasts are still growing, but as in the previous times my measurements have changed, I do intend to wait till the next week to verify that the measurements are in fact like real and not an error on my part. I try to do my measurements the same way every time to eliminate the possibility of an error. So I stand the exact same way to get my hip measurements. I try and go like across the exact same point on like my breast, so that way I get an adequate measurement as far as my bust goes. So yeah, but they have been hurting a lot recently, and I've been dealing with it the best I can. And yeah, that's pretty much it with that. They're still growing, they're getting a little bit bigger, so they're like, I feel like a normal A cup size, maybe? I don't know, I wear an A right now, but I've been wearing an A since like, I feel like my measurements were like 33 and something, maybe? Probably ever since like my measurements were 34 and a half. Oop, hold on. 35 and a half, I guess. And so I'm just only filling out the A cup even more. I think that's regarding that. They are growing like, they're getting softer. What is hurting is like these solid points on it that remain. And I think that's just because they're growing, and what I'm experiencing like an internal growing pain. That's what I think is going on. My fat redistribution is very much the same. I have not noticed anything anywhere on my entire body, with the exception of like my face throughout my entire transition, but nothing as far as like my waist, my hips, or anything like that. Sex drive. I do think my sex drive is starting to go down. I'm not 100% sure on that though, but I think it's just like my desire. I think, yeah, my sex drive is definitely going down. Because like I just don't feel like I want it anymore. Which is fine. It's honestly like just been like a hindrance. Like it's like sometimes like I wish I could perform, but then it's like, who would I perform that with? Me being tired, that is a very real thing. I am still very much tired. I've started to like drink energy drinks again, just because like I've been having trouble like staying awake, and I've already got like a slight like narcolepsy like diagnosis, which is weird, and I can explain that at some other point, but I'm getting that taken care of, and yeah. Muscle development. From what I can see my muscles like going away slowly but surely, and I'm still really lean. I'm still, I would say, above average strength for a woman of like my height, weight, and age. But I feel like that gap between where I'm at and where a natural born woman is, well, would be, where if we were side by side, I feel like that gap between us is closing the more time goes on. That's kind of what I'm trying to say. Voice therapy. I don't think my voice therapy is going too well right now because I've had to drink a lot of energy drinks. So I imagine my voice has kind of like deepened a little bit. And I'm gonna try and wean myself off again. Today I didn't have one, so I'm hoping to stay off of them for a little bit and hopefully make more progress and I guess chip away at the gauntlet that is my voice, because I've hated my voice for so long. It bugged me the first time, like, it was even mentioned that, like, my voice changed. And the first time anyone ever said anything was, like, the first time I drove a car. My brother was in the back seat recording, and my grandmother was in the passenger seat directing me, and I drove, like, just out in the field, and excuse me. After we were done, we watched the video and stuff, and it wasn't even the fact that, like, I drove a car that got me. It was, the sound of my voice. I was like, is that what I sound like? And that's what really got my attention more than anything else, is, like, I sounded, from my point of view, atrocious. For lack of a better term. This week, I am gonna get my labs taken, and then the week after, I get my results back, so that way I can figure out where my testosterone levels are and where my estrogen levels are. I think previously my levels were at a 66 for estrogen, and I think the goal is to get as close to 100 as possible without going over. Excuse me. And that'll be a good, that'll be good to see. I kind of expect my estrogen to go up, and my testosterone might go up as well. So the testosterone blockers, I imagine, will go up as well. I do pass a lot better at work. I have noticed, like, even whenever I drive in my boy mode, since I'm growing out my hair and stuff, I get mammed for sometimes, and I do think that's pretty cool. And then whenever I get all dressed up, goodness, I'm so sorry, y'all. Whenever I get all dressed up and go to my other job, I get mammed, or my pronouns are completely left out for the most part, because I don't think they want to acknowledge my pronouns, but they also don't want to be disrespectful. I think that's the situation that goes on there, and that's perfectly fine by me. I am getting a new therapist because mine is currently retiring. So I get to see a new therapist soon, and my old therapist said that he would write my letter of recommendation for like my surgeries and stuff. So I'm really excited about that, because I think many places kind of require that I have that stuff. Maybe not necessarily at the ready, but like available. To be honest with y'all, I think that's it for this one. I'm sorry for the short video. I've been working a lot recently, and it's been a time, let me tell you. I've had to like drive down to Florida and back, and go immediately into my makeup job. I've had to do all sorts of things, because we're trying to fix what was messed up with the restaurant. But yeah, I think that's it for tonight, because I'm exhausted, y'all. But yeah, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave those down in the comments below, or join me on on either my Discord or my Blue Sky, and I'll be able to answer your questions there. But this is Brianna Sinclair, signing off.